Session 3 of God's heart is to bless. And yesterday we talked about how while God's heart is to bless, we can't receive his blessing if we are being disobedient or dishonouring him. Deuteronomy 27, we have the story of the Hebrew people about to enter the promised land. And God's giving them instructions on how he wants them to live. And so in verse 9 it reads, "Be silent, O Israel, and listen. You have now become the people of the Lord your God. Obey the Lord your God and follow his commands and decrees that I give you today." And then at the beginning of chapter 28 it reads, "If you fully obey your God and carefully follow all his commands that I give you today, the Lord your God will set you on high above all the nations on earth. All these blessings will come to you and accompany you if you obey the Lord your God." And then goes on and enumerates all the blessings. One, that they would conquer the peoples in the land, that their land would be fruitful, their labour would be fruitful, he would bless them with offspring, and they wouldn't be in debt to any other nation. Now there's a reason why he would do this. And verse 10 says, "Then all the peoples on earth will see that you are called by the name of the Lord, and they will fear you." God's blessing was for a purpose, and that was that other nations would see the benefit of obeying God, and they would want to turn to him. This, of course, was the original calling of the Hebrew people, that they were to be a light to the other nations of the earth. Now we know that in the history of the Hebrew people, they did not obey God. In fact, they turned away, they worshipped other gods, they carried on with behaviours that were totally forbidden by God. And instead of asking God to guide them in their what they were to do, they turned to playing politics with the other nations. And it got to the stage where they'd moved so far from God that despite all the warnings of the prophets saying what was going to happen, they just ignored them. And so God withdrew his blessing and said, "Okay, if you want to play it this way, then these are the consequences." And the consequences were that Babylon just overran them completely, and people were taken into exile. And yet, God still shows his heart to bless them. Jeremiah 29:10 and 11, they're in exile, but God says this, "This is what the Lord says, when 70 years are completed for Babylon, I'll come to you, and I'll fulfill my gracious promise to bring you back to this place. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." So despite their flagrant disregard for God and of his teachings, he still had the desire that they should prosper, that they should have a future. The people certainly needed to learn that disobedience to God had consequences which led to destruction, and yet God would never ever give up on them. And this is the heart of God for us. He'll never give up on us, no matter what we've done. His heart is to restore us, to call us back to himself, so that we can receive his blessings.
I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands, from the moment that I wake up until I lay my head. I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I'm able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful. my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I'm able, I will sing in the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness